Hello, guys. Diorce here. I'm a little bit fired up today. Just got back from work. And like I said, we're going to just go ahead and just jump right into this right now. The topic of today is about those mass shootings, okay, that happened over the weekend. Ironically enough, I was actually in a deep slumber. I was taking a nap because I had to work that day. And right after work that day, I was pretty wiped out. But we had three mass shootings. The one that seems to be getting the most focus, the most attention, is the shooting that took place in El Paso County, Texas. Or no, it might have been actually, I think the city of El Paso, I should say. But it took place at the Walmart over there in El Paso, Texas. At the time of the shooting, it was 20 dead, 26 injured. And I guess now the death toll's up 22 dead and 24 injured. And then we had a shooting that took place up in Dayton, Ohio, in the Bar District. 9 dead, 26 injured. And there was a shooting that I guess also took place. I'm not sure where it was in California, but it was at the Garlic Festival. I'm not sure what the numbers were on that one, how many died or how many got injured, because the media is really not touching that one at all. And they're barely even touching the one that took place out in Dayton because it does not fit their narrative. Okay, we're going to talk about this whole narrative thing. Okay, this whole anti-gun rhetoric, how it's complete bullshit. Okay, I'm just going to call it out what it is. It is complete bullshit. You know, there people like to argue. People like to argue that we need more gun control because of the safety of the children. Okay, they always come out with it's always the same rhetoric after every single school shooting. We need to ban the guns. We need to come up with smart gun legislation. We need to ban the semi-autos. We need to have a gun registry. Blah blah blah. Bullshit. None of that. Not one piece of legislation that they have enacted has stopped a mass shooting, has stopped a murder, has stopped any crime at all. If anything, it makes non-criminals into criminals by accident. Okay? Gun registry, all it does is it makes it easier for the government to know who has what weapon, and when the time comes, it makes it easier for them to go ahead and confiscate said weapons. Okay? That's all a gun registry does. It will not stop. It will not stop a mass murder. If somebody is hell bent on killing a bunch of people, okay? And you know what? I think it's sad because this did not get enough attention 2 years ago. Okay? They will find alternative methods. For instance, that terrorist out in New York City back in October 2017, I think it was on Halloween Day, drove a rental truck, okay? Drove a rental truck onto a bike path, mowed down like, what was it, like 35 people, 27 injured, 8 people died, and then crashed into a school bus. There was no guns used in that. Yeah, he had 2 BB guns that looked like real guns, so that way he could get the cops to shoot and kill him. So that way it was suicide by cop. But he did not use any guns in the actual event of killing those people and injuring those innocent people. There was no gun there. So these people, I'm going to call you out. I am going to call you out on your bullshit right now. You want to use this, think about the children. Well, we need to stop worrying about our guns and start worrying about the children. Bullshit. If you are actually worried about the children, okay? If you were actually worried about the children, okay, let's think about this logically. You wouldn't allow the 3 million aborted babies every year, okay? You would not allow abortion. You would not allow children to be on these mind-altering drugs, okay? These antidepressants. You wouldn't be force-feeding these kids this freaking processed garbage food with the GMOs, the pesticides, all that crap. You wouldn't be allowing the children to be exposed to the 5G signals coming off these cell towers, this 5G radiation, okay? And you wouldn't allow these children to live in squalor in these freaking hellholes, these shithole cities like Baltimore, where there's freaking trash piled up and rats freaking just roaming the streets, freaking infested. Rat infested hellhole right there. You wouldn't allow them to live in that. You wouldn't allow them to live in the gangbang streets of Chicago where their chances of getting murdered and shot by a drive-by or getting exposed to drugs or whatever. You wouldn't allow that. So don't tell me that my firearm is endangering your kids. My right to owning firearms or other people's rights, other law-abiding citizens' right to own firearms is an endangerment to your kids. That's bullshit. You know what? I carry this gun everywhere I legally can. On my hip. Okay? Everywhere I am legally and lawfully allowed to carry this, I open carry this son of a bitch. I open carry it all the time. Thankfully, I've never ever had to draw this gun in self-defense or defense of other people. Okay? I'll bet you this piece right here, being strapped on my hip, out in the open for everybody to see, this probably deterred a lot more violent crimes just being present in the room than me not having it. I guarantee it. I guarantee it. So, in short, my Second Amendment rights, the Second Amendment rights of the other law-abiding citizens in this country, the other law-abiding, tax-paying veterans, people who serve this country, and people who may not be able to serve this country, people who are, and including people who are physically incapable of defending themselves. Our rights to own firearms, to use them in self-defense, self-preservation, do not end where your feelings begin. Okay? So, there's a lot of talk, okay? There's a lot of talk because, and I'm right now, I'm really getting fed up with President Trump right now. I'm really getting sick and tired of him. I really thought a lot higher of this guy. I had higher standards of this guy. I really did. I voted him in office because I absolutely did not want Hillary in office. I absolutely did not want her in office. And I absolutely would not want a Bernie Sanders in office either. But I am getting sick and tired of him, the NRA, capitulating to the left. Capitulating to these leftists. Okay? I'm getting sick and tired of this shit. Freaking, first the bump stock bans, now he's talking about ban suppressors, and he's in favor of pushing these red flag gun laws. Okay? I don't think these red flag gun laws are going to stop anything, to be honest with you. I don't think they are. I think that our law enforcement just needs to get their heads out of their asses. I think that these three-letter alphabet agencies need to get their heads out of their asses. I'm going to bring up that shooting that took place a little over a year ago, Parkland, Florida. Okay? Remember that school shooting? Yeah, that kid was reported to the local authorities and I believe the FBI 39 times. 39 times. And he posted on social media that he wanted to shoot up a school. The kid had already been in trouble with the said school that he had later on shot up. He'd already been in trouble numerous times. In fact, he got himself expelled from the school. And then he later on shot the school. You know what? If there's not a warning sign right there, I don't know what is. I'd say that's probably about the only time that anything that remotely looks or smells like a red flag law bill would probably work. That's probably about the one and only time. Other than that, these red flag law bills aren't going to do shit. They're not going to do shit to stop anything. And I'm going to tell you something, man. There ain't going to be, It'll be a cold day in hell. It'll be a cold day in hell if any local law enforcement agency, state law enforcement agency, or, agency, it doesn't matter. It could be ATF, could be El Paso County Sheriff's Office, for all I care. It'd be a cold day in hell if any of those guys come down to my place and attempt to kick the door and take my stuff. I tell you what, you can have my firearms when you can pry them from my cold, dead hands. I promise you that. You can have them when you can pry it from my cold, dead hands. Unless you have, and like I said, this is for the law enforcement agencies here. Unless you have a court order, like a signed court order, and I've already gone, like I said, I've already been given a court summons, and we've already gone through the entire due process that I am deemed to be unfit, mentally unfit, unsafe to have my firearms. Until that's happened, you're not taking my firearms. You're not taking my firearms. You're not going to do the buyback program. It's not going to happen. I'm not giving them up. You can send people over, but you know what? You want to talk about a mass shooting. You want to talk about a mass shooting being on the 5 o'clock news. That'll probably be it. Probably be it right there. There'll be law enforcement tried to do an illegal raid on a law-abiding citizen, tried invading his home, kicking his front door in, shot his dog in the process, and then ended up being like 10 agents ended up dying in the process. That's what it's going to end up being. Because I'm going to tell you right now, we're already in the first stages of tyranny, okay? We are already in the first beginning stages of tyranny. The tyranny at this point, when the tyranny at this point will not stop. The second that they decide to do their buyback program or do a confiscation program, that is the second that, like I said, at that point in time, there's nothing that's going to stop them, okay? There's nothing that's going to stop the local government, the federal government, the state government. There's nothing that's going to stop them. There's not going to be anything there to keep them in check. Checks and balances. Like I said, nothing there. So at that point in time, what's going to prevent them from, like I said, if they're willing to take these, which this is my property, okay? This is my property. The gun on my hip is my property. I outright own these. I bought these. I paid. I went through the draconian bullshit background check for these. I paid for the bullshit draconian background check fee on these. I paid for the bullshit sales tax on these, and I paid for the actual purchase price on these. I own these. I outright own these. These are the only difference between me and like I said, these are the only things that are going to keep the peace and shit hitting the fan. These are the only things that are going to keep me from becoming a victim. I don't have self-defense. I'm not a black belt in karate, taekwondo, or any of that. Those are what's going to keep me safe. Those are what are going to keep my family safe. Those are what are going to keep my friends, my loved ones safe. You take those away from me. You take those away from everyone else. What's going to keep the government from taking other things? What's going to keep the criminal element from taking things? And I'm going to tell you something right now. Because I turn my stuff in, or because the other law-abiding citizens turn their stuff in, does that mean the criminals are going to do the same? No. Criminals don't give a shit. They don't give a shit about laws. That's why they're criminals. In their minds, laws are meant to be broken. And as far as I'm concerned, if the law is abhorrent to the Constitution, it's considered null and void. It is not a law as far as I'm concerned. I'll break that law all damn day. I'm serious. But the second they take that stuff away, What is going to prevent them from going into your home, confiscating everything else you own? What's going to prevent them from confiscating your money? What's going to prevent them from confiscating any gold or silver you might have occurred? What's going to prevent them from confiscating your food, your water? What's going to prevent them from confiscating your cars, your electronics, your daughter, your wife, daughters, your wife? What's going to prevent them from doing it? What's going to prevent them from taking your life? The second, like I said, the second they take the guns away, that essentially that's when George Orwell's 1984 has come to life in full force. Once that boot goes onto your throat, once that boot is planted on your neck, on your throat, there's no amount of begging. There's no amount of pleading, begging in the world that's going to get that boot removed off of your throat, off of your neck. That's it. You're done. You hear me? You're done. So, that's why I'm not turning my shit in. And that's why they're not going to do any confiscations. Not in my place. If they do, like I said, it's going to cost them dearly. Yeah, I might die in the process, but it's going to cost them dearly. And I'm going to bring up some other examples too. There have been multiple cases where police officers, three-lettered government agencies will do no-knock raids in the middle of the night. No-knock raids. Okay? 3 a.m. 3 a.m, guy gets woken up in his sleep. Here's somebody kicking down his door. He don't know it's the police. He don't know it's local law enforcement. All he knows is somebody that's kicking down the door. It's a home invader. It's a home invasion. He grabs his gun and he uses it in self-defense, or at least attempted self-defense. Shoots a couple of the police officers. The police officers gun him down. He dies. And you know what? They end up figuring out real quick, oh, shoot, we got the wrong address. We got the wrong address. The guy's dead. And what do the police get for this? These agencies, what do they get for this? A slap on the wrist. Oh, sorry, bro, my bad. My bad, B. Try again later. No amount of apologize is going to ever bring this dead person back to life. It's going to bring no amount of apologize is going to bring this dead person, bring their family, bring them back to their family. Their family, they're going to be forever at a loss. So that is another reason why I would be willing to use deadly force in the event that the government thinks that it's okay to do a door-to-door gun seizure or quote-unquote mandatory gun buyback program. Sorry, Spartacus. Sorry, I'm not doing it. I will not comply. I absolutely will not comply. And you know what? Westwind Survival brought up another good point, okay, about these mass shootings. They focus way too much on the guns. They focus way too much on the law-abiding citizens. They focus way too much on that stuff. The guns don't commit the crimes. It's the people that commit the crimes. And you know what? Statistically speaking, and even Alex Jones has brought this up too, a lot of these mass shootings, most of the time, the perpetrator has been known to be on psychotropic drugs, antidepressants. So the people, they're already not right in the head. They've already got a chemical imbalance. The other thing too, it's the way kids are being raised these days. The parents are not active in the home. The fathers are not in the home. Was it in the African American community? Was it 75% of children either don't know who their dad is or their dad is not present in their life? And we wonder why an overwhelming majority of this demographic of people live in slums and they're involved with crimes. Yeah. The fact we're feeding these kids GMOs, the family unit's broken up, and we're putting these kids on psychotropic drugs. I'd say that's a good portion of it right there. And you know what? You could ban, like I said, you could ban all the guns. You could put all kinds of restrictions in place, okay? But I'm telling you what, right now, if a person is hell bent on doing harm, harming somebody, or committing a crime, believe me, they're going to find a way to do it. Okay? That's just, unfortunately, that is human nature. There's always going to be the small percentage, that small minority that tries to see how far they can go, see if they can get away with doing this. Okay? See what they could do. It's going to happen. It's just math, okay? There's always going to be that small minority. Like I said, if somebody's hell bent on doing something, they're going to do it. They don't need a gun. But the second you take my right to own guns, or the right for other people to own guns, you've created a bigger problem, okay? We're going to reference the Australian gun buyback program. When they enacted that, when they did that gun buyback program, when they put that huge restriction on citizens being able to own guns, did you know violent crimes went up 22%? Did you know that? They did. They went up 22% after that. Because a lot of criminals figured out, well, since most of them are disarmed, or there's certain firearms that they are 100% restricted on being able to own, I don't have to worry about getting shot in this home invasion or doing this robbery or assaulting this person. So I know these politicians, they aren't going to watch my video. And I know this leftist media, they're not going to watch my video to the full extent. They might pick out parts and pieces for their highlights so that way they can make their little bullshit op-ed, their news or whatever, and say, oh, this guy is a crazy. This is why we need to get rid of guns. I guarantee you they won't watch it to the end. I know you guys will. I know my subscribers will. Okay? I'm sorry this ended up being a rant, but I'm telling you, man, this has absolutely angered the crap out of me. I waited a couple days not so much to make this video, but I was trying to get a little bit more information that was not focused around mainstream media. I was trying to avoid Fox News, CNN, and all that. I mean, those guys, they're complete yahoos, okay? I want to bring up, I know the reason why they're not talking too much about the Dayton, Ohio shooting. It's because it don't fit their narrative. And I'll tell you the reason why. I'll tell you the reasons why. There's actually 3 reasons why it don't fit their narrative. Reason number 1, fast response of the police. The guy only managed to injure 26, thank God. Only managed to injure 9. It's unfortunate, but thank God he wasn't able to do any more than that because of the quick response of the police. Number 2, the second reason why it does not fit their narrative. It's because essentially what it boils down to was a good guy with a gun stopped a bad guy with a gun. I don't care what your opinions are of police officers or local law enforcement. As far as I'm concerned, a majority of them are good. Okay, they're good people. Okay, majority of them, I guarantee you, when they swear that oath to the Constitution, they mean it, just like I do. I took that oath to the Constitution back when I swore in for the Navy. That oath carries until my grave. Okay, so I guarantee you, a lot of these guys, they don't. I guarantee they don't want to do anything stupid like that. Okay? A lot of them actually realize that if there are more good guys with guns, they have less to worry about. They don't have less to worry about who's got my back, rather than who's going to shoot me in the back. So that's another reason. That the police officer, I'm going to say by default, this police officer or police officers who shot this guy and killed him, they were good guys. They were doing their job. They were neutralizing the threat. The third reason why that Dayton, Ohio shooting is not in the mainstream media, other than Fox News, is because this shooter happened to be a crazy environmentalist, and he was a staunch Elizabeth Warren's supporter. We can't have that. We have to have Trump supporters. But unfortunately, not one single shooter so far that Trump has taken office, not one of them has been a Trump supporter. The shooter for Steve Scalise, I believe he was a Bernie Sanders supporter. This guy in El Paso, Texas, he said he didn't like Trump. He didn't support Trump, that he had his ideas about the Mexican immigration long before Trump made it in office. So I don't know why they keep saying these guys are, they're influenced by the Trump rhetoric. Obviously they're not. Obviously they're acting on their own accord. And the other thing too, I don't want to get too much into conspiracies, but I do find it a little bit fishy that we have 3 separate shootings that took place in less than 24 hours. Anyway, I've let this video run on long enough. I am Diorce. I'm out. You guys have yourselves a good one. Goodbye.